All right, everybody, welcome back to the Baja 500 2019 edition. This year is brought to you guys by KMC Wheels, Rigid Industries, and 4-Wheel Parts. It is now 11:02, so we're into our third hour of racing here, or a third update at least, starting the fourth hour of racing. There's been some more bottlenecks. Is anyone surprised? There's cars moving, but there's cars in bottlenecks. We got the leaders out front. Is Andy McMillan still? He started first. He's still out front. He's having a good run so far. So let's go over and look at the map and see what we got. So here we are. So the lead car is Andy McMillan. You can see if we zoom in here. He is right here at mile 123, but that hasn't updated in 4 minutes. So there it goes. It just updated. So he is at mile 125, 125.6. Andy, followed by Ryan Arciero. This is a quad right here, so don't mind this quad, or a bike actually. Then Luke McMillan is in third, followed by Zach Langley and Kyle Jurgensen driving the number 50, followed by Dan McMillan and Cameron Steele. So that's your top 6 cars right there. They have kind of put a little gap, you'll see here. There's a little bit of a gap back to the 7 of Bryce Menzies, who is making his way forward. He's been moving up all day, so he's going to be one to keep an eye on. Remember at San Felipe, he was actually winning the race from pretty far back until, 2 miles from the finish, and he had a drive shaft go out. So keep an eye on Bryce here throughout the day, even if he's not all the way up front. Remember, on time, we got to take a look at this. It's not who finishes first, it's who's fastest on time. So one question that a few people were asking me, so the first Wilson car got off the line, and then there was a gap. They stopped the rest of the cars and because of the bottleneck at mile 2. So people are saying, well, what was the time split? I don't have the exact time split. The other question is, are they going to give some time back to maybe some of those last trophy trucks that were stuck in that bottleneck or what? I don't know if they're going to, I haven't heard of any time credit yet or anything like that. Honestly, I don't think they're going to do anything like that, but you never know. If we hear something about that, we will definitely let you guys know. I had a few people that were asking me, so I haven't heard that yet. You can see Robbie Gordon. He's having a good run here. He's still going. You got Alan Impudia, Justin Lofton, Mikey Lawrence, and BJ Baldwin. Remember I told you guys I think BJ's going to have a good race? Look, he's at 0 miles an hour right here. So what do you know? You never know. That might just be a flat tire or something because he was up front here. So he might get going again in a minute. We'll keep an eye on BJ here. Behind him, it goes back a little ways. Then we got another pack of racers right here. And this is all after the kilometer 77 mark, which is back here. The lead one car is going to be right here, Brad Wilson. He's at mile 102. Then there's a sizable gap back to the 138, and the 168 is actually the second one, Shelby Reed here. That's the second one car here. All right, so somebody just said they heard on Weatherman the time split was 16 minutes. Okay, that sounds about right. So the Wilson car went off, then they stopped the race for 16 minutes. So remember to add that 16 minutes when you're looking at the rest of these one cars when they finish, because their time didn't actually start until they left the line. So Wilson could win by 16 minutes, but then the next car finishes within 16 minutes, and they are actually the winner. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that at the end of the race if the Class 1 race is looking like it's going to be pretty close together. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, so yeah, someone says, what's up with mile 16? Yeah, so the big story, if we go back here, we can see this was the last update we did was a big story. Most people have moved through here now. So mile 16 right here was the next big bottleneck after the mile 5 one. From 15.5 to 16.5 miles, there was no cars moving anywhere in there. So everybody was stuck. You can see now we're down to like the 7F class, the 16 cars, Baja Challenge cars, Class 5, all the sportsmen, all those guys, Dan Chamley, they're all in that bottleneck stuck right there at mile 16. So that's a huge bottleneck. you can see if we come up the race course a little bit, all the cars that were previously stuck in that bottleneck are all now running together. If we keep coming up a little bit. So here is the big group. So look at this big group here. From basically mile 54 to mile 37 is solid cars the whole way. From 37 to 54. I mean, there's literally like hundreds of feet between these cars. So for that 20 miles or 15 miles, whatever it is, there's cars. So these guys are not having a fun time right now. They're in the dust. They're all on each other's bumper. You have UTVs mixed in with 12 cars, mixed in with 10 cars, mixed in with trophy truck specs. You just have everybody is just mixed in here. So this is definitely a pretty gnarly start to this race. This is the gnarliest start to a Baja race I've probably ever seen. I've never seen this many bottlenecks this early, and never seen this many cars bunched up this early. So definitely you're going to have to earn it today. And a lot of the classes are mixed in. You know, I mean, there's a UTV that's ahead of all these guys already. Last we checked right here. Look, Jason Murray, 29.17. The only 10 car that's ahead of him is one right here, and that's it. And look at only the spec trucks. He's only behind a few spec trucks. So this UTV right here is actually probably in the top 10 overall right now, or top 15 overall, just because of where he is. So, yeah, that's the 29.17 Jason Murray is actually leading all the 10 cars right now. He's beating most of the spec trucks. So it'd be interesting to see throughout the day, now that they're out of the bottlenecks, if they catch back up to him or if he can hold his position there. All right, so what do you guys want to see? It's like I said, a lot of these other classes, it's impossible to tell who's running where right now just because they're so close together and the trackers update at different times. So the one thing keep in mind today when you're looking at the tracker here, make sure you look at the time when it was updated. So if it says 0 minutes ago, that's the best. So it's like that one right there, 0 minutes ago. So you know that's a real update right now. If you look at someone else's, see that one right there, the 257, it looks like he's right in front of him, but his updated 3 minutes ago. So he's actually going to be 3 minutes ahead of where that is. So keep that in mind when you guys are watching these today. It's real hard to tell who's in what position if they're close to each other and they're updating at different times. So we can look at that throughout the day. Bobby Picoy had a really good run going earlier. It looks like he's still at 0 miles an hour. So big bummer for those guys. They are appear to be broken there. Who do you guys want to see? Let's see. The Honda stuck back there. No, the Honda truck is moving, I believe. Let me ask some of my guys. Is the Honda truck moving over there? Yeah. Yep, Honda truck's moving. So the Honda truck did get around Shamley, and they are moving. They're at what mile? At 26. So those of you looking for the Honda truck, Jeff Proctor and Pat Daly, they're at mile 26 a few minutes ago, and they are moving. So they did a good job, and they were able to get around that bottleneck. So that's good for those guys. Now, who else? What other questions you guys have? How's BJ doing? Well, BJ was doing good, but then he's at 0 miles an hour. You can see right here 4 minutes ago at mile 112. So we'll see if he gets going again. What else you guys got? How's Luke McMillan doing? Well, Luke McMillan's doing pretty good. He's up here in the front pack. You can see he's right here. His just updated 0 minutes ago. He's at mile 126. So here's a perfect example. It looks like Luke's in second, but look at Ryan Arciero here. His updated 2 minutes ago. So once Ryan's updates again, he's going to jump back in front of Luke. So it's actually going to be Ryan second, and then Luke should be third. So Luke's running in third right now. And then the cops truck is going to be right behind them in fourth with Dan. Dan and the cops trucks are up. The cops truck is updating at about the same time. So they're right on it, or not at the same time. So it's hard to tell which one's in fourth and which one's in fifth, but they're both running in the top 5 right now. Then Cameron is your 6th place trophy truck right now in the number 6 team. So definitely a lot of heavy hitters up front. Keep an eye on Bryce right here. As soon as this thing refreshes, there he is. This was my pick to win today. I said if Bryce doesn't have any problems today, he wins by 10 minutes. I still feel like he's going to win. I don't know about 10 minutes just seeing the way it's going right now, but I think Bryce is the one to watch today. All right. So who else are you guys looking for? Give me some car numbers and some classes that they're in if you guys want me to look anybody specific up for you. Someone wants to know 113. All right, let's look up 113. So let's go to class 1. Show only this layer. 113 right there, Damon Jeffries. So Damon Jeffries is currently in 3rd place, it looks like. He's running pretty good. So we got Brad Wilson now out front, but remember the 15 or 16 minute start gap here. So that's why it looks like he's way out front. Then we have Shelby Reed second, and Damon Jeffries is running third, it looks like. Then the 150, the 127, 162. All right, someone just asked, Lee Wood wants to know where the 138 is. That's the other Wilson car. Let's see, it's re-updating right now. Let's give it a second. There you go. Okay, he's right there. He is in about 7th or 8th place right now is the other Wilson car, Brian Wilson, the 138. Let's see. Trophy Truck 97, we just said that Robert Mills, they're at 0 miles an hour right now, around mile 112 or so. What else you guys? Rob Mack. Yeah, let's go. We can go look at Rob Mack for you. Rob Mack he seemed to be running a conservative pace early, probably his plan. Let's go look. Where is he now? So Rob Mack's right here. He's at mile 114. So he is right behind the, let's see, I can't get it to see if we can get it. He's right with Tavo. So Rob Mack and Tavo both updated 0 minutes ago. They're right on each other's bumper. So that's probably a pretty good race going on right there. Rob doesn't really want to let Tavo around, but he knows Tavo is probably a little crazier than him, or he is a little crazier than him. So he'll probably let him go once Tavo catches up to him here. So that's your update on Tavo too, for those of you that were looking. He's at mile 114. Looks to be running in the top 15 or so, both those guys are. But remember, they started way back. Tavo started almost all the way in the back. So we'll have to check on times. We'll check on times later in the race. All right. So someone else saying, how's the 99 doing? They're right here. They're doing good. I don't know if that was Brock or Dale in there at the start. If any of you guys know who started the 99 truck, let me know. But they're doing pretty good. They started way in the back too, so they're definitely making progress. They're not losing any time. Then we have Gary Magnus coming along in his new truck. That's the old Brett Serapis Coors Light truck. He's still coming along. And Justin Lofton, yeah, where's the 41? Haven't seen much of him today. I don't even know if his tracker's working, actually. I don't see the 41 on here. We can see the 70. The 70's back in Ensenada. They blew up their transmission, and they're out of the race, so bummer for those guys. Yeah, Justin Lofton, I don't see his tracker. I haven't seen his tracker work today, so I don't know where Justin Lofton is, to tell you guys the truth. If anybody gets an update on Lofton, let us know. 55L, someone's looking for the Legends. So every time this thing refreshes, it kind of goes off for a second on the tracker. So it's kind of something a little weird today. Yeah, I don't see the 55 either. So there's definitely a few people whose tracker is not working today, but for the most part, they seem like they're going pretty good. Robbie Gordon's right there. All right. So, okay, someone said Dale started. So that is Dale Dondell in the 99 right here. So let's see who said that. Dale says Scott Estrada. So, Scott, do you happen to know when Brock is getting in the truck? What mile maybe? That would be cool, so we could know that later. Lee Wood has an update. He said, just heard BJ is parked with a fuel sensor problem. All right, so there you go. Update on BJ Baldwin for you guys. He has a fuel sensor problem. So bummer for BJ. I think they actually had that same problem at the Mint, I think it was. He had a fuel sensor problem. So maybe they got something going on there. They can hopefully they can get it figured out. But bummer for those guys. See, Dave says 41 is close up front in the pack. There he is. It just showed up, actually. Perfect. All right. So now maybe he was right behind someone last time it pinged. Let's see. So there's Justin Lofton. He's at mile 120, and it looks like he is about in the top 10 or so. He should be. Yeah, see, now I just went hidden again. So he's running right with Robbie Gordon. So Robbie Gordon and Justin Lofton are right on each other right now. That's why it's hard to see when they update which one pops up on top. But definitely a slow race today. All right, we're going to check one more thing, and then we'll be done for this update. Let's go look at the bikes, give you guys a bike update. The lead bike is past Mike's now, coming down the back up behind Mike's, headed towards the coast. They are at mile 318. So the 1X is Justin Morgan. He's been out front all day. The 4X looks like they're up by Mike's. They are second place. Then it goes back to the 370X. Then your first quad is the 1A. And they are on the road up to Mike's. Second quad is the 21A, not too far behind them. So the 1A and the 21A have a pretty good race going between those guys, I think. All right, so that's your update on the bikes. It looks like everyone will probably be cleared out of the bottleneck before the bikes come back in. You can see where it joins back up right here and comes back in. There's only a few cars that are in here in this bottleneck. So the bikes, it's going to be hours before they get here. So yeah, all these guys should be out of the way of that bottleneck. Remember, everyone has to come back through this spot too. So the spot that had all these bottlenecks this morning, you get to do it all again, but from the other direction. So it's going to be exciting by the end of the race. All right, guys. So a big thanks to all of our sponsors today, KMC Wheels, 4-Wheel Parts, Rigid Industries. We will be back at 12 o'clock with your next update. Until then, go watch the score feed. It looks like they might be trying to get it back online right now, so they might be coming back up. And then we'll be back at 12 o'clock noon with your next update. See you guys then.